Dūreṇa avaraṁ karma buddhi-yogād dhanañjaya Buddhau śaraṇam anviccha kṛpaṇāḥ phala-hetavaḥ.
In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that actions motivated by selfish desires are inferior to those performed with wisdom and detachment. He urges Arjuna to seek the guidance of wisdom in his actions, rather than being driven by the desire for specific outcomes. This verse teaches that acting with wisdom and without attachment to the results leads to greater peace and fulfillment. It encourages us to perform our duties with a clear mind, free from selfish desires, and to trust in the process rather than obsessing over the outcomes.
Buddhi-yukto jahātīha ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte Tasmād yogāya yujyasva yogaḥ karmasu kauśalam.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that a person who acts with wisdom and detachment, guided by the principles of yoga, rises above both good and bad actions. Such a person is not bound by the results of their deeds. Krishna encourages Arjuna to practice yoga, which he describes as the skillful way of performing actions. This verse teaches that by applying the wisdom of yoga, we can transcend the dualities of success and failure and perform our duties skillfully and without attachment. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining balance and wisdom in all our actions.
Karmajam buddhi-yukta hi phalam tyaktva manīṣiṇah janma bandha vinirmuktah padam gacchantyanāmayam.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that wise individuals who are guided by wisdom give up attachment to the results of their actions. By doing so, they free themselves from the cycle of birth and rebirth and reach a state of eternal peace and freedom from suffering. This verse teaches that true wisdom lies in detaching from the outcomes of our actions. By doing our duties without attachment to the fruits, we can break free from the cycle of karma and attain lasting peace and liberation. It highlights the importance of performing actions with a balanced mind and a sense of inner detachment.
Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha.
In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that when his mind rises above confusion and delusion, he will no longer be swayed by various teachings or desires. Instead, he will find inner clarity and peace. This verse teaches that wisdom clears away the fog of confusion. When we move beyond our doubts and misunderstandings, we become less affected by external influences, gaining a calm and focused mind. It emphasizes the importance of inner clarity and the ability to see beyond illusions.
Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthāsyati niṣcala samadhavacala buddhis tada yogamavāpsyasi.
In this verse, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that when his intellect is no longer disturbed by contradictory teachings and is instead steady and focused on meditation, he will attain true yoga or union with the divine. This verse teaches that inner peace and clarity come when we are not distracted by different opinions or external influences. When the mind is calm and focused, we can achieve a deep state of meditation, which leads to the realization of yoga or spiritual union. It emphasizes the importance of a stable and concentrated mind in spiritual practice.
Arjuna uvacha sthita-pragyasya ka bhāṣā samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhih kim prabhāṣeta kimasita vrajeta kim.
In this verse, Arjuna asks Lord Krishna to describe the behavior and characteristics of a person who has achieved a steady mind or sthita-prajna. Arjuna wants to know how such a wise and stable person behaves in daily life, how they speak, how they remain composed, and how they act. This verse introduces the concept of a person who is spiritually grounded and unmoved by worldly distractions. It shows Arjuna's curiosity about the qualities of someone who has reached spiritual stability and is fully absorbed in meditation. This verse sets the stage for Krishna to explain the trait of a spiritually enlightened person.
Shri Bhagavan uvacha prajahati yada kaman सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains the first characteristic of a sthita prajna. Such a person has let go of all desires that originate in the mind. They are content and fulfilled within themselves, not relying on external things for happiness. This verse teaches that true wisdom and peace come when we are not driven by desires or external pleasures. Instead, we find joy and satisfaction within our own self. It highlights the importance of inner contentment and detachment from worldly desires in achieving spiritual stability.
दुःखेष्वमनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते.
In this verse, Lord Krishna describes the qualities of a sthita prajna. Such a person remains calm and composed even in difficult times and does not become overly attached to happy moments. They are free from strong emotions like attachment, fear, and anger. This verse teaches that true wisdom involves staying balanced regardless of life's ups and downs. It emphasizes the importance of emotional stability and detachment from both sorrow and pleasure. A wise person is not controlled by the emotions and remains peaceful in all situations.
यः सर्वत्राणभिस्नेहस्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभं नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that a person with steady mind is someone who remains detached and unaffected by life's circumstances. Whether something good or bad happens, this person neither celebrates nor despairs. Their mind is steady and balanced. This verse teaches that true wisdom means not being overly influenced by success or failure. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining inner peace and not getting caught up in the highs and lows of life. A wise person accepts everything with calmness and remains centered.
यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽज्ञानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
In this verse, Lord Krishna compares a wise person to a tortoise that pulls its limbs into its shell. Just as the tortoise protects itself by withdrawing, a wise person can control their senses, pulling them away from distractions and temptations. This teaches that self-control is an important part of wisdom. To be wise, one must not be overly driven by the desires of the senses, like for food, entertainment, or material things. When a person can manage their senses, their mind becomes stable and they can focus on what truly matters.
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते.
In this verse, Lord Krishna explains that a person can give up the physical pleasures of life, but the desire or attraction towards them might still remain. However, when someone experiences a higher spiritual truth or understanding, even that desire fades away. The message here is that real freedom from desires comes not just from avoiding material things, but from realizing something much greater, spiritual wisdom. When we connect with a higher purpose, worldly attractions lose their charm naturally.
यततो ह्यापि कौन्तेय पुरुषश्च विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः.
In this verse, Lord Krishna warns that even a knowledgeable person who understands right from wrong can still struggle with controlling their senses. The senses, like sight, sound, and touch, are powerful and can disturb the mind, leading it astray from one's goals. This teaches us that self-control is a lifelong practice. Even the wise must stay alert and focused to manage their thoughts and actions, because distractions are strong and can easily take over if we are not careful.